In today's section, we're going to cover the fields, how to create them, how to split them, how to add times to them, and if you want to make them available for rentals. So we're going to go to the left side menu and we're going to go to the manage field or the manage court section here. Once we go to it, it's going to open up our field module. First, make sure to select the correct branch before creating the field so the location of that field or court that you're making goes to the correct location of the branch. So let's go with this one. Next to field, you're going to have an add button. We can click add. And we can input the field name. Let's call this basketball court. Of course, we can split this court into multiple sections, whether 2 splits, 3 splits, 4, 6, or 8. Let's do 2 splits for this specific court. We can add a description for it. Let's call it basketball court for adults. Let's click submit, and that basketball court is created. Step 2 is we need to add a plan for it. And what does that plan do? We need to divide this court into those two sections to make sure each one has its own category alone. So let's start with section A. We're going to select section A here. We're going to input the category for it. Of course, we have a long list of drop downs. Basketball is one of them, so we can select it. The pitch name is what are we naming this section of the court? I'm going to call it basketball court A. And what is the maximum capacity? So, how many people can we fit in this court if it's rentable? Let's say it's 10 people. The PT capacity, if we're using this court to conduct training sessions, how many PT trainers can we input in this section of the court at the same time? Let's say one. And this is the most important is if this half court is available for rental, make sure to click on enable for online booking. If it's not, you can keep it off. Now, if it is available for rental, of course, you can input a price list where you can say what's the duration and what's the price. Say you're renting it out for 60 minutes for, say, $20. You can, of course, say it's 120 minutes for $35 and on and on. You can input as many as you want. Let's input one that's for 60 minutes just to make sure we have something in place. Then we select the times. So, what time is this section of the court available? We can input what time till what time. And of course, I can segregate the days however I want. Say, for example, I want to click Saturday off. I want Monday to have it from, say, 8 a.m. till 11 a.m. And then it's going to be off till, say, 4 p.m. So it only opens again at 4 p.m. till, say, 10 p.m. Right? So you can segregate your day however you find it suitable. Click save. And that part of the court is done. Now we click add plan again. And let's do the same thing for section B. So here we have basketball court B, capacity of 10. Let's say this is one. We'll also make it available for rental, 60 minutes for $20. Now, the third plan is going to include the full court. Now, what we have in this scenario is the following. Let's create it together first. Let's call this basketball full court. Capacity would be, this would be one. And let's say this would be double the price because we're taking the whole court. We're saving it. So now what we have is three different sections for this specific court. They can get court A, which of course will lock renting the full court. So only B will be available in this scenario. If we rent B, then A will still be available, but not the full court. And of course, if we rent the full court, then none of the sections will be available. This is done automatically through our system, so you don't need to close them manually once you book one of the plans. After we create our court, we can rent it out by going to the left side menu, clicking on courts here or fields, And we can see that our courts here are now available. So we can choose A, we can choose B, or we can choose full. And any times that they are closed in, like this, for example, it will appear in gray and it will not let you book it. So if I want to rent out, say, section B to a client, I can just click, say, at 6 p.m. in section B, can select, let's say 6 till 7. It will open up to add a reservation. I can add the name of a client. I can choose a time and price. As you can see, it automatically gave it to me in the drop down. I can put a title, but this is optional. But let's say it's rent out in this section. Of course, I can put notes. And if it's someone that rents weekly from you, you can always repeat weekly. And I can say I want this to keep repeating until the end of X date. Click save, and that reservation is in place. Now, whenever that person comes to their reservation, you can just click on it, take arrival, and invoice the client. And here it will open up. You can give them a discount. You can put a reference number. You can change the price. So if I put $10, it'll give them 50%. I can put notes, which is optional, and I can choose a payment method. Then I confirm, and this will turn green instead. Of course, I also have the availability to select a time and block it instead. So I do not need to put a name for a client, I just block it. I put the title, say, called blocked. I keep the net price at zero and I save it. And you can use this, for example, if you have a specific time that you clean the field, or if you ever want to close this section for rental on that specific day for any reason whatsoever, you can always block your time immediately.